this. So are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take same example. So how it will work we are going to see now. So we were clear about what is the input format, what is the input split, and what is the record reader. We're going to talk more about the mapper and reducer phase. We're going to talk about more what is a mapper and what is a reducer things. Okay, see, let's take this is my sample.txt. The sample.txt has been stored into HDFS in this specific location. Let's take this is the location, and that file has been divided into blocks, and each block has set of lines of input, I mean set of input, and each block has some input, and based on the input formatter you are using or based on the type of data you are using, we will be specifying to your job. Where we are specifying, you are going to specify your job in the job, I mean in the code, I can say in whatever the code you are going to write, either Java or script or whatever the code. In the code we will be specifying this is my input format. So in this case we are taking text file. In this case we are taking text file, so we are specifying text input file format. In this case we are taking text files, so we are storing text. We're specifying to my job which is a text input file format. So if you didn't specify any format in your job, if you didn't specify any format in a job, by default it will consider it is a text input file format. Okay, if you didn't specify any format in your job, so how to specify, I'll show you. If you didn't specify any format in your job, it will consider text input file format, I mean text file format. Okay, okay, let's say, and so on. So let's see. So this data has been divided into blocks, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 they are set of blocks, and these are the physical splits. Those are physical splits. Those are physical splits are nothing but a blocks, and each the whole data, okay, before coming to HDFS, the whole data will be divided into input splits. Even your job client will create input split for each, I mean for a whole file. It's not for a block wise. Your input formatter, I mean your job client will create or will calculate input splits. How it will calculate? Based on the formula. So your job client will decide, okay, my split to one size is start from 0 to whatever the size it comes. Let's say start from 0 to 64 MB. My split to 2. This split is nothing but input split. My input split to 2 goes from 64 MB to 128 MB, so and so on. So it will calculate the input splits, and it will also knows the, okay, if it is when you submit the job, and it will identify the locations. Then it will identify the locations. Okay, split 1 has to go to block 1 or from the data node 1, and split 2 has to go to block 2 from some other data node, and so on. Split 3 128 M2 MB2 at 64 32 130, oh no, it is 8 4 12 30 8 180 128 to 170 172. So this is split 3. This is, it will go to, I mean block 3 or data node block 3, data node 4, data node 5. It will be calculating according to that. It will be identifying this is my split. My split 1 is start from the 0 to 64 MB, and split 2 start from the 64 MB to 128 MB, split 3 start from 128 to 172 MB, and so on. Then as soon as it's applied here, okay, the split 1 comes in the range of 0 to 64. Okay, 0 to 64 range is block 1. So split 2 goes 64 MB to 128 MB. Okay, it comes on block 2, and so on. It will be calculated. These are logical. These are logical. These are not a physical, these are logical. Now, let's assume that one of the split, let's say split 5, one of the split has taken more space. Let's assume that my 172 to it is taken 64, right? 64, 6, 13, 236. It's ideal, it's supposed to be through 236. Instead of that, 172 to 150 it has taken. In this case, what will happen? It will identify the which are the blocks next by, nearby, which are the blocks has to be occupied. I mean, which are the blocks has to be clubbed. Logically, it will club them. It will club them and it will calculate the input split. Then, once the input splits are calculated, your record reader class creates an object, record reader object. Which record reader object is? It can be, I mean, if it is a text input file format, the record reader object comes like line record reader. Line record reader object. So if you know the line record reader object, this object contains set of methods. What are those methods? Read current key, read current value, key next key value, get progress, no, get progress, close, initialization. These are the methods are available. In those methods, my mapper is making use of, my mapper is calling three methods. One is this record in the while loop. In the while loop, your record reader, I mean context dot next key value. So it means that when I am taking the first block, first split, my one mapper will be launched. Map 1 will launch, map 2 will launch, map 3 will launch, and so on. Map 16 will launch. Or how many maps it comes for the those many splits. Okay, number of splits equal to number of mappers. Number of splits equal to number of input splits equal to those many number of maps will be launched. Okay, let's take an sample of one mapper. How it will work, we'll look at. So in the mapper class, it will take a while loop, and let's assume that this is a block, this is a split one. This is the split one. The split one is started from the 0 to 64 MB. Let's assume that it has taken proper, I mean with valid the block size and split size is same. Now your record reader will be in the very first position because it's created an object. A record reader will create an object. That object contains all the records. The whole the object contains all the records for that specific input format. That specific input format. From that object, context dot next key value. Yes, there are so many lines in this. Let's assume that in this we have 100 lines. Okay, and in that we are calling a map method by passing key comma value. How it will pass? Keys from the get current key, value is get current value. So when it is called this map method, ideally this map method is our map method, what we have written in our code. What we have written in our code. So our logic will be applied there, then it will start executing our logic. Let's go ahead and see a sample program, then it will be make you very much clear about the details. Okay, so is everyone has the Eclipse setup in Ubuntu?
Yes.
So we are going to see a sample program, and I'll explain the program in detail line by line how it will work. Then after showing the line, we'll go back to the again the same screen which I was shown you, I'll explain how it implemented in that file, so you will be very clear about the first example. So once you understand the flow, you can go ahead, when I give an assignment, you can go ahead and implement very easily, because the skeleton is same, like your map reduce is same, and how to set that no, your input formats and are same. The only thing, your logic will be keep changing. Let's load. Let me close all the. Okay, so first let's see how to do a setup. So everyone knows how to do a setup for the Eclipse, a project. I want to create a new project here, so I'm going to create a project. You can create a project from here, or you can go and create a project from file, new, Java project. It is a core Java project. It is a core Java project. So you have to select a Java project. Let's specify Hadoop hands-on or MapReduce hands-on, whatever. Okay, MapReduce hands-on. Next, so when I specify this, it will show you like this. This is the project name. This is your source folder. Source folder is nothing but where your source code will be available, like your .java files will be available. And when I just come down, so once your code is compiled, that compiled code will be stored in the bin folder. Your compile folder will be in bin folder. Just finish. Your MapReduce hands-on has been created. So once your project is created, so if it is a plain Java code, normal Java code, if it is a plain normal Java code, you don't need to set any class paths. You don't need to set any build path. It's called a build path. You don't need to set anything. But it is a MapReduce program. In our case, it is a MapReduce program. Your tool will not understand by default. Your tool means your ID. Uh, your IDE will not understand, and also your JVM also will not understand what is a MapReduce by default. So
So
for that,
Ravi,
yeah,
like yeah, here you are going through Eclipse, right? So most of the companies on in real time, people will use Eclipse or in different way coding.
most of the cases, 90% of the cases, they will use Eclipse for the Java code. Eclipse or
Okay,
either my Eclipse, or they will use, there is one more IntelliJ. There are this kind of IDs only they will use. Okay, in the most of the
okay,
companies. If they didn't use also, if they use any other tool also, you have to do this practice. I'll show you what is that.
okay,
Because your
okay,
JVM by default, it will understand the core Java, like your Java lang package. Your Java, it will understand by default. If you're going with any external frameworks like a MapReduce, if you're going with the servlets, or if you're going with the JSPs, or if you're going with the struts, or if you're going with the, some anything external frameworks apart from the core Java. Okay, I mean apart from the JDK, while you are installing a JDK, there will be some set of jars will be loaded. You see here, JRE. These are the default jars. Okay, whatever available from this, you can make use of those classes. Let's see. Your AWT by default it will come.
yeah,
Okay, your java.lang. So many by default will come. Okay, so many things by default will come. Those you will make use of them directly, right?
okay,
So apart from these jars, suppose you are going to use something else. Apart from these, you are going to use some other things. See here, I'll show you java.lang. You might have seen sometime before we have written some core Java code. Your arrays you can directly take from here. Okay, you might have seen our collections list, map,
Yeah, yeah,
array list, right? These are the
yes.
default classes. To make use of them, you don't need any APIs because they're already come with your Java or your JDK, right? Your JRE, I can say. So Java runtime environment. These are all by default came along with you while you're installing Java. But is there any MapReduce APIs here? Is there any MapReduce APIs here? No, we don't have the MapReduce. If you are going with servlets, you'll not find anything related to servlet. If you are going with JSPs, you'll not find anything here. If you are going with the Struts, Spring, any other framework, let's take any other framework which supports Java, those we will not find here, right? So your project is making use of them, if your project is making use of them, you have to specifically externally you have to tell to your JVM, while you are compiling this code, you use my these jar files. You are specifically has to tell to your your JVM. So how you will tell them? I'll show you that. Before that, if you didn't include those jars, what will happen, I'll show you. And after including those jars, how it will work, I'll show you. So everyone create a project quickly. Everyone create a project very quickly. Everyone, please guys, everyone do the project quickly. After creating, I'm going to create a package. What is a package? It is nothing but a folder structure. It is nothing but a folder structure. Here, com dot map reduce dot word count program. Word count. Map dot reduce dot word count. Because I'm going to create a word count folder under this project for my word count purpose. I will just paste it. You just see here, I just given this code. Okay, as soon as given this code, as soon as I have given this code, what happened here? It is showing errors. Let's assume that I have written this code. As soon as I written this code, what is happening? It is showing error. What error it is showing? The map reduce cannot be resolved type. It means while compiling, your project or your JVM is not understanding what is a mapper. Your JVM is not understanding what is a mapper. Your JVM understanding what is a long writable. It is not understanding what is the text. It means the Hadoop related code it is not able to understand. See, string it is understood. It is not showing any error for the string. It is not showing any error for the IO exception. It is not showing any error for your tokenizer. It is not showing any error for your while loop, right? But it is showing error for what is a text, I didn't understand. What is a mapper, I didn't understand. What is a long write. So here what is happening, your tool or your JDK or your Java runtime while you are compiling this code. See, as soon as you type the code in your project, it will start compile. See here, build automatically. Build automatically means as soon as you control S, as soon as you save the code, it will start compile internally. Okay, it means it is compiling. That's why it is showing errors here. What does it mean? Your project or your JDK your JVM is not understanding this code. To make understand your JVM, you need to provide the jar files. You need to provide a jar files. Which jar files? MapReduce jar files. MapReduce is a separate framework, right? It does not come with when you install Java. It will not come along with when you install Java. You have to explicitly has to tell to your JVM, these are the jars I am going to use. So for that, click on your project, right click on this, build path. What is build path? See, it is a kind of path. While building, it will refer all the jars from this build path. Okay, configure build path. Click on this. There are multiple ways you can add the jar files. You can directly add the jar files here. You can directly add the jar files here. Add external jars. As soon as you say, you can add directly these external jars. But I want to show you a different way, which is a easy way, a different way. Okay. So you create, like, see how many projects you create. Those many times you need to add the jars. But let's assume that you are creating only for every use case you are creating different project. So every time you cannot go ahead and do the add jar. When you go for add jar, you need to select your location. Every time you need to select the location. Every time you need to go here, you need to select all the jar files every time. How many times you create a project? I'm talking about a project, guys. Like here I have created a hands-on map reduce hands-on, right? Like that you are going to create one more project. That time you need to add. To avoid that, I'm showing you other way. Add library. Add library. What is a library? Library is nothing but you are creating one folder. You are creating one folder. The folder contains all the jar files in it. Your folder contains all the jars in it. Let me show you an example. See here, whenever you create a project 1, so you have a jars in Hadoop jars. In a Hadoop 1.2.1 under the library, you'll have a set of jar files. So whenever you create this, you need to specify the jar files. You need to include jar files here. Every time in build path, every time you need to select the jar files. From where? From here. Every time you need to do this. So let's assume that you have created one more project. You have created one more project. Project, guys, not the program, project. Okay, in one project you can write any number of programs, but here you want to specify independently. You don't want to mix everything, so you want to create multiple projects. Okay, so every time you need to do this, you need to include. But instead of this, what I'm telling, you create one central repository, a folder which contains the jars. Okay, so already you have selected all the jars which is required for this folder, which is required for your project. Project 1, you just refer this. Project 2, you just refer this. This is called user library of jar files. All jar files will be there in this library. Project 3, you just need to add this. You don't need to every time select one by one. You just need to just point out that folder which is a central repository. So you can get all the libraries will be available by default. So that's why I'm making your job is easy. That's the way. So how to do that? So as soon as I'll show you from the beginning one more time. Right click on your project, go to build path, configure build path. There you select add library and select user library. User library. Next, and in your case it will not be displaying all this. In your case it will not display all this. You have to create it freshly, right? Click on user libraries. Click on user libraries in your case and create new Hadoop 1.x, whatever the name you want to give, you can give 1.x. Click OK. Click OK and select that. Now it's a one-time activity. You have to do add external jars and you select all the jars what you want to add. You go to your folder where it is installed. In your case, usr local Hadoop. Go to Hadoop, go to library, and whoever is using Hadoop 2, their case you have to go to Hadoop and you have to go to ext folder. Under that you'll be having some jar files. Okay, and the library, before that you have to select all this. You can hold a shift and select like this, then click OK. Again you need to select, that is one set. Okay, and again you need to select hadoop.1.x.
Ravi, sorry to disturb. So after creating Hadoop 1.x, what
Mhm.
we need to do?
After, you have to
You
click
can
on,
little bit fast.
yeah, you have to click on this, click on add external jars,
Add external jars.
the right hand side.
I'm saying, okay, let me.
Is everyone in the same page?
No. See, I went to map reduce hands on, then I went to build path, then I went to build configure build path, then there I created a I'm seeing that what I created a folder called Hadoop 1.x.
So you didn't add it by, you already clicked OK.
Yeah.
You didn't add the jars, you just created new user libraries, you just finished it. Let me show you one more
Okay.
time. Okay, so in
So I
your
need to
case,
delete that now. What I
no,
need to do?
no need to delete. You just come to, you are at this place now,
Uh,
add libraries.
uh, y- yes, libraries. Okay, go. I need to go to
Well, okay,
libraries.
one second.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Let me
I'm
show you
getting
from the beginning.
libraries.
Right click on your project, build path,
Yes, yes.
configure build path,
Okay.
and add libraries. It will be there on
Yes,
libraries
yes.
in
That's
this
true.
screen, and go to add library. So
I did that.
you have to select user library,
I did that.
and after it will be list out what are the libraries you have.
Yes,
So in your case, you already have a Hadoop 1.x.
yes.
Select that.
Oh, okay. Then add external jars.
So
Okay.
you got to here add external jars,
Yes.
and see it will list out here. Select user libraries. Murali,
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing that.
when you run add library, it will list out all yours, and you just click on user libraries. It list out all the user libraries one more time in other file called preferences. In the preferences window, in the preferences window.
I I clicked on add external jars, right? That's what you mentioned.
No, no, no. Oh, I came one step back. I came one step back again to make you clear. So now you are in preference window screen. You tell me that.
No, I am at libraries screen.
Okay, add library screen, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So click on user libraries at your right hand side. Do you
One
see the
second.
same screen? Do you see the same screen which I have?
Oh, 1 second. Build path. Because I can't see both. That's the problem. Configure build path. Then I went to libraries. Here I am seeing Hadoop 1.x and JRE. That's
No, no,
those two.
no.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, okay, I understand. You already added it. You
Yeah.
already added.
I clicked OK, right? That's what I told to you.
Mm, okay.
Without doing add external jars, I clicked OK.
You have here, right? You are at here in this location.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Exactly there.
Okay. No. Here you go to add library.
Oh, I
Here,
need to go to add library. Okay.
and you'll come to one more screen like this.
Yes.
So you'll find in the
Add
screen
library.
JRE system library, JUnit, user
Yes,
library.
that's true.
So select user library,
Okay.
say next,
Okay.
and again you click on the user library in the right hand side in the top.
Oh, I was not supposed to select Hadoop 1.x here.
No, you don't select that. You directly right hand side you have a user library, right? User libraries.
Yes.
Click on that.
Okay.
It will list out again the same Hadoop 1.x in your case,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Then select that
Yes. Okay.
As soon as you select it, it will become it's kind of a red color. Then at right hand side you have a add external jars.
Okay, I need to click that, right?
You have it, right?
Yeah, I have that add external jobs.
So click on add external jars
Okay.
and go to your USR local Hadoop. So whoever has a Hadoop 1.x, select these jar files.
Recently used Murali
Okay.
file. I need to file system.
Whoever has Hadoop 2, there has the different location. Hadoop 1 guys, you select these jars, click OK.
Ravenna,
Yeah, Manu.
I'm not able to go to that user locations place after I'm trying to add the jobs from Hadoop.
Okay.
It is displaying that window. It is displaying that window now, like search recently used Eclipse. Hadoop.
Local.
Okay, fine. I'm just canceling this. I want to take someone's machine who don't have a setup already. I want to take someone's machine. So who wants to give control to me? Murali or
Yeah,
Manohar?
I'm okay. I'm okay to give.
And let me take 1.x. Who has a 1.x? Most of the guys has 1.x. Uh, okay, let me take Murali. I'm taking yours only. I'm making you presenter.
Okay.
Please share your screen. Okay. See, let me go back one step back. Manohar,
Yes.
are you able to see the screen?
Yes. No.
Preferences screen.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You select your Hadoop 1.x or whatever you have created,
Yeah. Yes.
and right hand side you have a new edit, add jars, add external jars.
External. Yes. Add external jobs. I clicked.
Guys, there are two places you'll find the add external jars. There are two places you'll find add external jars. You should be very careful. Okay, there are two places where you'll find external jars. So which external jar you are selecting, you should be very careful. One second, I'll show you one more time from the starting for who didn't follow the previous screen. Okay, for benefit of who didn't follow from the starting, for them I'm going to show one more time. Okay, right click, right click, build path, configure build path, configure build path, and go to your libraries. Click on the libraries in the screen of properties for the map reduce hands-on. In the screen, click on the libraries at the top tabs, top, and at right hand side you will find the add jars, add external jars, add variables, add library, add class folder, add external class folder. Okay, in that you select add library, then select user library,
Yes.
then select at right hand side you have a user libraries.
Your libraries. Yes.
Go here, and you already created, it will list out here. If you didn't create, click on new, click on new,
Yes.
and give the name, whatever the name you like. Okay, after giving the name, it will display here.
Yes.
Okay, one second guys. In Murli case it is not 1.x, it is a 2.x. So you might have been this place. Now select that jar file, that folder, whatever you have created. Select it. Don't click
Yeah.
on OK. Okay, select
Yes.
that
Just select here.
and go to add external jars.
Yes. No.
Click on add external jars. Then you need to select the path from here. You need to select
Yes. Here is
a
the.
path from here. In this case, not desktop, file, and USR,
Okay. File. Okay.
file system. And actually you need to go to your path. File system, local, and you have a Hadoop, In that you have a lib, you have a native. Oh, nothing files are there here. Then in this case etc. For Hadoop 1.x you'll find the libraries here only. Okay, go to etc Hadoop. Is this? It is a little difficult in Hadoop 2. Hadoop 2 it is libraries execute. No, I think include. Let me see. It's been include. Yeah, here share. Yes, correct. Share Hadoop. Here you'll find common libraries. You in this common libraries you can select this common libraries. Control. You hold control and select everyone. Just say OK. And again you need to select set of other jars. Again select the Hadoop your folder. Every time you need to select a folder. Okay, you don't need to make it minimize. You just select the folder and again go to add external jars. You need to select every time the folder. Don't forget that. Otherwise, it will load the jars other places. Every time you need to select that folder. Then go to J differences. Is there no? And you need to search for it. In Hadoop 2, I'm not that much familiar where and all this. In Hadoop, in the common lib, you have so many. You just select Control A. Okay. Just say OK. Again you go up. Again you go up. Select your Hadoop folder. I mean whatever the file you have created. Again add jars. Add external jars. Add external jars. And you select all the jar files from your this location. Control A. Save OK. Select this. Add external jars. Templates are not required. Go back. And here HDFS. You will find the HDFS libraries here. Select all. Click OK. It's a one-time activity. Otherwise, the same activity you have to do for every project when you create. Every project when you create. Add external jars. In this if I have your libraries. Select all. Click OK. Actually, you don't need to select all these jar files. What you say for no for HDFS and AN are enough. So because we are going to write MapReduce program, HDFS or AN jars are enough. But to be in a safer side, you may write some other program. That time you should not get the problem. So that's why we are selecting all HDFS, common libraries, and everything. So select all the jars. So in a real time, we will not do this manually. Why? Because we will be using Maven or some other, if you are using Maven, you just need to specify the jar in the your Maven pom.xml file. In the real time, we will not do this activity. Real time will not add this because it has to be part of your project. So we will not do this in a real time. So what we will do in the real time, by default you will be having a yarn or something you'll be using. There you will add all the jars. By default the jars will be available for you. So Tomcat is not required anyway for time being. We're not going to use that. So we need a MapReduce jars. Okay, select them. Every time you need to select a project that you need, don't forget. Okay, add jars. Go to library, select them, click OK. I'll just go ahead and finish the yarn part. Select this, add externals, go to MapReduce. I think nothing is there in MapReduce. You don't need the libraries, HSQL. Okay, take it and again go back. Okay, take source. It's a one-time activity, guys. It is only one-time activity. Don't get oh, don't lose your patience and go back to your Hadoop. Go back to your Hadoop. Select your MapReduce yarn. Under yarn also you'll be having some set of jar files. Select yarn jars. So this and jar for only Hadoop 2. Hadoop 1, you guys need to select only libraries enough from the lib. You don't need to select all these things. In the yarn we have some different architecture. We'll talk about that later.
Ravina, sorry for the disturbance.
Yeah.
In Hadoop MapReduce, inside of that we have sources no folder. We have to add that those jars also like test sources jar and all is
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
No? We
You
have
can
to
go
add
ahead.
all the.
Yeah, you can go ahead and add.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Then we're almost done. We don't need to take a test and all. So let's take all this. Just save. Okay. So we have done. Okay. See what I'm trying to say here. You no need to add all the jars. In the real time also we'll not add all the jars. What are the jars we require for our MapReduce program in the real time, we'll add only those jars. But why we are adding all the jars here? To be in a safer side. See, this is a one-time activity. That is the reason I'm adding all the jars in this case. So every time whatever the jar you need, you go ahead and select. It's not a good practice. That's why at the single attempt, I'm adding all the jars here. So whenever you want to use, you just make use of the Hadoop-2.x. That's it. You don't need to do specifically. You don't need to add every time that the specific jar. Server test jar. So that's why I'm making use of all the jars I'm creating at a time. You were good enough to add the Hadoop common, Hadoop core. If you add those jars, it will fine. It is enough. Yarn and MapReduce related jars, if you add, those are enough for the to to serve your purpose. But here that is not our intention. So our intention is to I want to make use of this directory for our whole purpose, right? That's the reason. And tools. If you want AWS connection, that time what you need to do? Again, you need to specifically add this jar. So instead of that, I'm adding at a single attempt on all the jars. Done. Okay. Now go top. To verify whether you have properly added or not, you just minimize this. So you should not find any jars here. You should not find any jars here. You should find only one Hadoop-2.x or Hadoop-1.x in the respective of your versions. Okay. Then click OK. That will be listed here and that will be selected by default. Click finish and that will come under here. You can just remove this, you don't need it here. It will come under your libraries and just say OK. Now your jar is added to your MapReduce project. Let's say you are going to create one more project. Let's take another project you have created. So why I have added that, I just want to make you why we added the user library. I want to give, let's say you have created one more project like Hadoop hands-on. Why these many A's? Okay, then you just say finish. You don't need to select and all. Now the same jars are required for here also. So are you going to sit and do the same activity again and again? You don't need to do that. You just say build path, configure build path. You can directly do from here add jars only, but we'll do from configure build path. In a configure build path, you don't have that library here. So add library, user library. Whatever your library you're adding, user library, not the system library. Select this, just say finish. Just say OK. It's a pretty simple. Otherwise, whatever the activity we have done for adding the jars, right, you have to do for every time. For each jar, you have to do that. Okay, instead of that, we have created a user library. Every time whenever I create a new project, I just go ahead and point out to that user library. That's why I have shown you how to create a user library. Is everyone is clear? Okay, I'm just going.
Yes, sir.
So Harsha, Kishore, Anil, Suraj, Suresh.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen now to write a program. Now I need to add a library. I'll just go ahead and add library here. I have Hadoop already. Already have so many libraries. I'll just say finish and just say click. Now see, most of the errors are disappeared. All the errors are not disappeared, not most of them. All the errors are disappeared. It means that now my compiler understood, okay, so this program came from this, that class came from this library. Okay, I need to understand that. See here, core 1.x, under this you have Hadoop.map.red. You can just click on this, it will show that. Where it came? From this mapper.class file. It means it is there from org.hadoop.mapreduce. It was not there before, now it came, right? That's why it is able to understand, your compiler able to understand. That's why the errors has been removed. That's why the no errors are there. Okay, let's try to understand how to write a program. So I'm already have a program. I'm going to explain it. So if I start typing, it will take so much of time. Again, I need to rectify the errors, the spelling mistakes and all. So I don't want to take your time. So the existing code I'm explaining you. Let's see here. The very first thing, what we need to do, we need to write our mapper class, because these are the two different phases. It means that we need two different instances. Two different instances or two different objects. One is a map object, other one is a reduce object, right? We need two different objects. What are they? One is a mapper face object, other one is a reduce face object. What is a map face object? How can I make a map face object? How will I know? Because I'm going to write a plain Java code. How my class will act as a mapper face or mapper object. How my reducer class act as a my mapper or reducer object. How it will work. So for that, what you need to do, you have to extend. It means you have to be a child of, your class has to be a child of a parent called mapper in a mapper face. Why sir, why mapper? Otherwise your framework will not understand your class object is a child, or your mapper class has to act as a mapper face or mapper. right? Your framework will not understand, no? So it is a framework. That's why we call it a framework. Framework means it is given the set of libraries or set of classes which you need to make use of in your custom classes. If you use in custom classes, then only your framework will understand. Otherwise, it will not understand. So in my case, let me say word count mapper. I have written my own class. I am writing my own class called word count mapper. What I'm doing in this word count mapper, what is my business, what I have to do, what the code I have to write. So what is the logic we are going to write, just forget about it, because I'm going to show you that what is the logic, but try to understand the skeleton. This is very much important. Try to understand the skeleton part, or else I can write for you class word count mapper sample. And do you need a main method? No, I don't need a main method. Why? Because my mapper is not going to execute independently. My map method is not going to execute independently, so that I don't need a map method. I'm not going to execute my map class independently, so I don't need it. Okay, just say finish. So what I need to do here, to become my class as a mapper sample, I mean to become my word count mapper sample, to become a mapper object, to be a part of the MapReduce, to be a part of the MapReduce framework. So to making you understand, I'm keeping these words. To become your mapper word count sample part of your MapReduce framework or MapReduce job, I need to extend. I need to extend what class? Mapper. From where? So there will be so many mappers. From which mapper I have to select? See guys, here you have so many mappers, no? So many mapper classes, no? So you have to make sure that you are selecting org apache hadoop mapreduce, and it is telling k in k out. What is this, sir? You don't know to worry about them. You just say control shift o. So what is a k in for your mapper in this case? What is the logic you are going to write? What type of text you are going to handle? I'm going to handle text input format. So if it is a text file input format, what is my key?
Long writable.
Exactly, long writable. From where I need to take that? You need to take from org.apache.hadoop.io. Okay, there will be so many, let me show you that. Long, it is from Java language. Long writable is from IO, and long buffer, there will be, you have to select the proper one. So some places I'll show you that. What is the value? Here I'll show you that.
Text.
Text. See here, the text is there from so many packages, but long writable was not there, but to make you understand. See, text is there so many packages. Which one I have to select? Here the text is there from the W3C, text is from the Jasper compiler, text is from XML, Sun. There are so many places the text is there. You should be very careful while selecting this kind of common classes. So long writable is always be there from map.io, hadoop.io only. But text is there so many places. So make sure that you select the hadoop.io. Okay. And what is my key out?
Text.
Very good. What is my key out value?
Long writable.
It can be int writable or it can be long writable, right? Because it's a number.
Yes.
So let's take long writable only. Long writable. Done. Now what I need to do? I need to write my map method. I need to write my map method. We just type map control space. you click control space. So you also make sure that you select the map method, not the map and all other things, or not the mappers also. Okay, so select this. It will give you the complete code. You just remove them. You just remove them. It means that what it is telling, already there is a map method in the super class. What is a super class? Your mapper class. In your mapper class already you have a map method. Do you want me to call that? No, I don't want to call that. I will write my own logic. You can have a look. He is talking about this map method. He is talking about this map method. I don't want to call this map method. I will write my own map method. Okay. This is very much important, guys. Everyone need to. This is common. This is common. If you go in the real time, if you write your other project, if you are writing any other use case, this is common. Okay. You have to override a map method. You have to write a map method. Okay. You have to override a map method. So what is the mapper logic here? I need to convert. I need to take whole line. Now the whole line is given here. You'll get the whole line. Your long writable is the key offset and your whole value will come here. Now what is your use case here? So I need to convert my value into string type. Why I need to convert into string type? Because I need the words. First try to understand your use case. What is your use case? Your use case is take the line, break into words. I need to find out each word how many times it is repeated. So I need to take the complete line, and Java will not understand the text type. Java will not understand text type. It will understand only string type. So how can I convert any object into string type? Using toString method. If I want to convert any object into a string, I have to go with a string.toString. Then next what I can do, I need to break into words. Sorry, I want to break into words. How can I break into words?
String
So
tokenizer.
you can use a string tokenizer, you can use a string split. Okay, whatever the way you can do that. Let's say I'm going with the string split. Tokens are words equal to s value dot split of, I'm going to specify what is my delimiter. What is the delimiter here? Space, right? So it has been split into words. Now I have so many words are available with me. So hello, yeah, tell me, Anil.
Sorry for the disturbance.
Yeah.
In the method, mapper, in the braces, long writable text long writable is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why again we are going to give the entry for this method?
See, you are going to write a context object. The context object
Yes.
is, if you see in every mapper, the context object is there. If you go and see here, you have inner class called context. It's inner class. Okay. This inner class is has the method called, I mean, it's not a context method, right? It's not context, actually it's a constructor. Okay. So to make use of this context, I'm writing outer class dot, it is outer class. If you want to,
It is outer class.
if you, I mean, inner class concept is if you want to access the inner classes, you have to access with outer class only. If you don't have outer
That is
class,
the inner class.
yeah, that is inner class concept. So your context is a inner class.
Okay.
So to you this to inner class, so I'm calling with the external class. So my mapper See the why it is so you don't need to write this also. You can take it out. It can by default it can understand, but we have taken the code generated code. That's why it is came automatically. That's the proper way you need to
That's why
access.
I'm understanding.
See, you can take
That's
it
why I'm
out.
understanding.
Yeah, you can take it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
because confusion, right? So
No, it not
that's
confuse us. It's very much clear, right? Because it is outer class.
here.
This is inner class. You are accessing inner class by using outer class.
Yeah, I agree, but you don't know, right? Mapper class is having inner class with text
Okay.
context, so that's
Okay.
why we will getting confused.
Okay. Okay. So your map method
Thanks.
accepts three parameters. One is a key, one is a value, another one is a context. The context is from your mapper class context. Okay. So you splitted the words.
Ravi?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
One more doubt in that is our class is a string mapper, right? Here, key out something two parameters is there, right? Long writable text. Again, in that
Correct.
key out
Correct.
some places you
Correct.
get.
Correct.
What is that? Can you, if you don't mind, can you give
Okay.
some?
See, what does it mean? Your class, the in parameter to your class, input parameter to your class, it should be always a long writable and text. These are the generics. Okay, these are the generics. So apart from this, if you try to give anything, if you try to emit anything as a part of your class, it will not take. Let me write here a simple to make you very much clear. Context dot, I have a write method to write. If I say here, instead of that, if I say number, and if I say here, instead of this, if I say value as it's a long writable, right? What my map method is telling, I mean my write method is telling, the method write, it should be a text and long writable. From where it is taking? Because I have already specified it here, text and long. If let's say the same thing, I'll specify long writable, I'll specify text. I mean here also I need to change. So to others may get confused, but anyway I need to clarify this. See now, here in this case, it's a number is okay. Number it has to be new long writable of 1 and say text of. Okay, so what does it mean? So you are telling to your class, my class always has to be, this is in parameter, this is out parameter. You are declaring at the level of class level. You are telling while specifying your class itself, you are telling that this is the variables is coming to my variables are going to access my method is this, and the variables are going out from my class is this type. You are specifying them. You have fixed those type of the variables, so you cannot queue apart from, you cannot emit other values apart from that. It's a generic type.
So we can define how many parameters max.
No, you cannot define. It's because it is from the it's from the parent class, right? So whatever the types your parent is the giving, you should give only those, right? So you cannot give one more parameter, extra parameter. Only four parameters you have to give. What is the K1 V1 and K2 V2?
Okay,
Okay.
Ravi, got it.
Yeah.
Sir, is it by default for all mappers there'll be key in, key out, and value
Yes.
in, value out?
Yes. That's why our
Why
framework.
like
What? Sorry.
I so for any kind of format we have to use that for the key in, key out, value in, value out.
That's the framework is meant, right? Do you remember initial class what we have discussed? Your mapper is
Yes,
expecting
but
K1 V1 K2 V2. Your mapper is expecting them. You have to give, irrespective of any format, irrespective of any input format. You have to give your K1 V1. You have to give your K2 V2. Okay, guys, we'll continue tomorrow. I think it's already the people are joined from other batch. We'll continue tomorrow.